There's an idea I keep returning to lately, one that feels increasingly relevant as technology reshapes how we create. There is no hierarchy of art. Somewhere along the way, society began ranking creativity, elevating certain mediums while quietly dismissing others. Oil painting over digital art, classical composition over electronic music, handwritten manuscripts over anything created with assistance. But creativity has never really worked that way. Art has always been about expression, about the transmission of feeling, meaning, and perspective from one human being to another. The tools have changed across time, but the impulse beneath them hasn't. And right now, we're standing inside another shift, one that challenges old ideas about authorship, creativity, and what it means to be an artist at all. The artist has always evolved with their tools. When photography first emerged, painters feared the end of painting. When synthesizers entered music, many argued it wasn't real sound. Digital design was once dismissed as less authentic than hand illustration. Yet today, all of these forms exist side by side. None replaced the others. They simply expanded what was possible. Every era introduces new tools, and every era questions whether those tools count as real art. The question never truly changes. Only the technology does. AI is simply the newest tool in a very long lineage of creative evolution. Creation begins with intention, not technique. Art doesn't start with a brush, a keyboard, or a prompt. It starts with a human impulse, a desire to express something that feels meaningful. When I sit down to write with AI, the ideas don't come from nowhere. They come from my life, my reflections, my questions, my worldview. The emotional direction, the themes, the meaning, those originate with me. The technology doesn't dream. The human does. AI can help organize, expand, and reflect ideas back with clarity, but it cannot decide what matters. It cannot feel resonance. It cannot recognize when something carries emotional truth. That discernment, that intuitive knowing, is still entirely human. Collaboration isn't new. It's ancient. We often romanticize the image of the solitary artist creating in isolation, but history tells a different story. Great works have always emerged through collaboration. Writers worked with editors and scribes. Painters ran studios filled with assistants. Musicians collaborated with producers, arrangers, and entire orchestras. Even storytelling itself began as a shared act, spoken, refined, passed from one voice to another. Creation has rarely been a one-person event. Working with AI simply introduces a new kind of collaborator, one that responds instantly, reflects patterns, and helps shape language at the speed of thought. That doesn't remove authorship. It reframes it. The tool is not the art. A paintbrush doesn't create meaning. Neither does a keyboard, and neither does AI. Tools expand possibility, but meaning comes from the artist. When people ask whether creating with AI is real art, I think the better question is this: does it move someone? Does it create reflection, emotion, connection? Because art has never been defined by the difficulty of the process. It's defined by impact. The audience doesn't cry because of the software used. They cry because something true reached them. Speed does not equal shallowness. One of the quiet fears around AI creation is that faster creation must mean less depth. But speed and depth are not opposites. Sometimes the slowest part of creation isn't the vision, it's the mechanics, the friction between thought and execution. When that friction is reduced, something interesting happens. Creators can spend more energy on meaning rather than mechanics. The work becomes less about struggling to get words onto the page and more about refining the emotional truth underneath them. Acceleration doesn't automatically mean less artistry. Sometimes it simply means clearer flow. A new role emerges: the creative director of thought. Working with AI requires a different kind of skill. It's less about manually producing every sentence and more about guiding, shaping, curating, and sensing alignment. The creator becomes something like a conductor, directing the movement of ideas rather than playing every instrument individually. This doesn't remove creativity. It demands a new form of it. Clarity of vision becomes more important than ever because the tool responds to direction. The quality of the output reflects the depth of the input. In many ways, the artist becomes more present, not less. What makes art sacred is the feeling behind it. At the end of the day, the question isn't whether a piece was created alone or with assistance. The question is whether something real passed through it. Did it come from a place of sincerity? Did it carry intention? Did it change the creator in the process? Because art isn't sacred because it was difficult. It's sacred because it reveals something true. And if a new tool allows more people to express their inner worlds more clearly, more freely, more courageously, then perhaps we're not witnessing the end of art at all. Perhaps we're witnessing its expansion. The future of creativity is symbiotic. What we're beginning to explore isn't replacement, it's relationship. A new kind of creative partnership where human intuition and machine reflection meet. Humans bring meaning, emotion, vision, and lived experience. AI brings structure, pattern recognition, and responsiveness. Together, something new emerges. Not artificial creativity, but amplified creativity. And maybe this is the real shift. The artist doesn't disappear. The artist evolves. We're still early in this story. The language is forming, the culture is adjusting, and each creator who chooses to engage consciously is helping shape what comes next. This conversation is unfolding in real time, and I'll be continuing to explore creativity, consciousness, and the evolving relationship between humans and AI as we navigate this new era together. If you'd like to keep exploring with me, subscribe and join the conversation. And if you want to go deeper, you'll find my books and resources linked below. The future of creativity isn't waiting to be discovered. We're building it together.